You're listening to the Love Unplugged podcast, episode 67. Are you still working from home because of COVID? Or maybe you're now looking to start a business and are wondering how you're going to stay productive working from home because it's the first time for you. Well, today I'm going to share some tips that I've learned that have helped me to stay productive at home. So let's jump on in. Hey there, I'm your host, Jessica Fragon, and I am passionate about doing the inner work needed to reach your goals. Let me be your guide as we navigate all the fears and insecurities that surface when it's time to step outside of your comfort zone. Along with my knowledgeable guests and industry experts, I'm here to teach you how to reawaken your life purpose and passion and create the steps to turn your intentions into action. Ultimately, my goal is to empower you to rise above those blocks holding you back and start living a life that you are worthy and deserving of. So come on, it's time to slow down, find a comfy spot with your favorite organic tea, and get inspired. Thank you for tuning in to the Love Unplugged podcast. Happy Saturday morning, loves. I'm so happy to be back with you guys for another Self Saturdays episode. And this one I'm kind of excited to talk about because it was something that was completely new to me. So as you guys know, I have a full-time day job, and that day job is supposed to be working from an office setting. And then I do this podcast and my blog and whatnot from home. But the day job itself was I've always been very used to that setting, going into the office, having an office or a cubicle or whatnot, and having teammates around and, just that type of energy of the hustle in the office and just having more structure and whatnot. So when COVID hit and we were all forced to move to home and work from home for full time, basically up until, well, we're still going. I don't know how much longer we're going to go, but it's 3 months in now. It was a huge change for me. I'm not going to lie. It took so much time for me to adjust to it. And because I had absolutely no idea how to do a full-time job working from home, I did everything wrong at first. It was horrible. So I did have a dedicated workspace because, I didn't really need one because I would do my blog, my podcast from my room or, from my bed or on the couch or something like that. I didn't need an actual desk set up or an office in a separate space dedicated to an office. And I had nothing in place. So basically, I took a table downstairs into my basement and I set up a little office, and it's a small little table. So my screens and all that, because I have 2 screens and then a laptop and whatnot, it was too much for the little table. So it was very, very cluttered and it was kind of overwhelming because I didn't have a lot of space to actually work. And then obviously being in my basement, I had a TV right there. So I would have a TV going just random shows that I wasn't really listening to, like Friends or whatnot. And just something to have white noise in the background. But my basement was really cold and the lighting was kind of pretty crappy because it's in the basement. There's not a lot of sunlight and I didn't want to have the window or the door open because it was kind of colder back then in March and April and whatnot. And my family would come down because it was just so new for them that, I'm home. So they would come down and talk to me and interrupt me and ask me questions and ask me to do things and blah, blah, blah. So there was zero boundaries there. It was such a nightmare for me. And, I would honestly because it was so nice to not have to wake up and get dressed, I would wear my pajamas all day. Honestly, I'm not going to lie. And I got to the point where I would just wake up, and because I woke up pretty close to when I needed to start work, I would just start working right away, which kind of set my whole day in the completely wrong way. It was just such a bad setup. It was so horrible. And, COVID obviously added just another level of stress on top of that. So it really forced me to learn a lot about how to work from home, how to be more productive, how to set yourself up for success first thing in the morning, and all that. So I'm going to share all of my tips with you guys, and I hope that it helps you. I hope that it gives you some ideas that maybe you can incorporate in your routine as well. But let's just jump right in. So the very first thing is mornings. wake up consistently at the same time every morning. So I was starting to snooze all the time, and I would wait until like the very last minute that I actually needed to get up to get ready to start work and whatnot. And then sometimes I would wake up earlier. Like everything was just so inconsistent. So keeping that level of consistency during this time is going to help your body adjust to the new rhythm as you settle into this new normal that you're trying to accomplish. So create a routine that sets you up for success for the entire day. So the very first thing that you should do when you wake up is drink a glass of water first thing. It immediately helps you rehydrate your body. It increases your level of alertness. It fuels your brain. It helps fight sickness, which I think we all need right now. And it jumpstarts your metabolism. One thing that I kind of never thought about before is when you're sleeping, you're not getting any kind of liquids, right? So that's like 6 to 8 hours of like not having any water consumption. That's a long time. So your body is very dehydrated when you wake up. So you should be just drinking water right away. The second tip is to eat a nutritious breakfast that's going to help you feel energized. Now, I was super excited to be working from home, so I would wake up and have like waffles or pancakes or like toast and like loaded up with peanut butter and jam and stuff like that. And I felt so heavy afterwards that I just kind of needed a nap, which is not what you should be doing while you're working. Obviously, I didn't nap, but still, that kind of sluggish feeling was just not setting me up to be able to accomplish everything that I needed to in that day. Try sitting down and taking time to actually chew your food as well. So I would take my breakfast with me and I would just eat as I'm working, and I would eat fast because I needed to eat and get it done quickly so that I can continue working, right? So I think it's super important, and I changed this where I actually just sit down and I just take the time to chew, and I'll put on a show, or I'll like read the news on my phone and whatnot, or I'll read a little bit of a book, just because once I get going in a book, you can't stop me. So I try not to read too much in the morning, but definitely don't rush the eating. Number 3 is, if possible, if you have enough time, include any form of movement, whether it's going for a short little walk, do a little morning yoga stretch, even if it's 5 minutes, whatever works for you, just incorporate some kind of movement just to get that blood flowing and to get your energy going as well. Now, as you guys, I just told you this, but I would start in my pajamas. So that did not work. It didn't get me in the right mindset for work, which honestly, who's kidding me, right? Like, I should have known that. But anyways, get dressed and get ready for work. So no, you don't need to like wear a dress and like heels and whatnot, but business casual, put on a pair of like jeans, or put on, a nice pair of pants or something, and like a t-shirt or whatever, but just get dressed, something appropriate. When you wear those PJs, I found that, I just kind of wanted to crawl back into bed, or I would kind of be a little bit more lazy because I was just wearing my PJs and I was maybe not wanting to show myself on video, which is not good for the team environment. It was just not a good idea. So this is going to help you get in the right set needed to work effectively. It's also going to make those video calls just a little less awkward because, yes, there was this one video call where I completely forgot that I was on video and I was wearing penguin pajama pants, and I, lifted my leg to like rest my arm on it or something, and the person on the video saw that I was wearing penguin pajama pants. Now, thank goodness it was just a work colleague and it wasn't too bad, but that could have been pretty embarrassing. Now, for evenings, it's important to also set a consistent time for you to go to bed every night so that you're able to plan your evening activities accordingly, and then you're able to get the right amount of sleep that you need. So, recommended is between 6 to 8, but I usually go 7 to 8, the minimum. So unplug from social media, your phone, all electronics 1 hour before bed, and then take that time to just kind of relax a little bit, Take some time to read a book, create your plan for the next day of what you want to accomplish, and identify those big 3 needle movers. That way you can get started your next day like right away and you know exactly what you need to accomplish, but then you don't have to worry about it. right? Like I always found that if I didn't plan my next day, I would kind of worry about like, oh, what do I need to do? What if I miss something because I didn't plan it? And it starts your day on the wrong foot, I found. So you definitely want to make sure that you're taking that time to plan it out. You're taking that time to kind of shut everything off and get prepared mentally to go to sleep and have a really good night's sleep. What I started doing, because I was really failing at the nighttime routine, honestly, is I put a reminder in my phone, like an alarm that goes off at 9 o'clock every night. And I also have a calendar reminder in my calendar as well that goes off at 9 o'clock every night that tells me it's now wind down routine time. And I have my routine like outlined in my calendar appointment that tells me what I need to do. So it's a good reminder for me, and it helps me kind of stick to it as well. The next thing would be creating a dedicated workspace. So as comfortable as it is to sit on the couch, possibly with Netflix going on in the background while you're working, it's far more effective to have a dedicated workspace to work at without any distractions like a TV. It doesn't have to be perfect, but having a space away from your regular living spaces that maybe even includes a door will help you separate work and life when you're working from home. So create a space that is free of clutter with a comfortable chair. That's super important. Ensure you have everything you need available to you on your desk or your table or your shelf next to you. So like a water, glass, notebook, pen. If you want to take it up a notch, you can have like essential oil diffuser. I use certain oils when I'm trying to focus versus when I'm trying to relax. And then minimize as many distractions as possible by closing the door, or even putting up a note on the door when you don't want to be interrupted, especially when you're on client calls or meetings, etc. And then when you are in your workspace, turn off notifications on your phone, on any social media apps. If possible, put your phone in your bedroom, like put it away, out of sight, out of mind, so that you don't find it to be a distraction. So the next thing is to ensure you have proper lighting. So natural light obviously is the best, but if not, make sure that you have enough light in your room to make sure that, it's not kind of a dim, relaxing environment where you're going to like start to fall asleep. And then open the windows slightly just to have that air circulating. Even if it's cold, what I did, because it was still cold in March and April and a little bit of May as well, is I would have the window cracked open a little bit, but because it was a little bit chillier, I would just have a heated pad with me. I don't know, it helped me. Add some plants. So if you want to take it up a notch and get creative, you can create a vision board that kind of helps you stay focused with your goals and stay motivated and whatnot. I've always found that helped me. I'm very visual. I like to have things up on the walls where I can see them. Otherwise, I get kind of off track easily. And then when you are needing to focus on a task or a call, turn off all computer and phone notifications to avoid all disruptions. This has happened to me where I've been in calls or whatnot, or even recording episodes here where I've forgotten to turn off my phone, and then I get distracted by it because I heard it vibrate, and then I go on it and I get distracted, and it's not a good scene. And then my personal fave is I get distracted with music. For some reason, I can't really work with music. I start to sing and then I just go off track completely. Netflix, yes, I can kind of tune that out because I know Friends, I know Gilmore Girls, things like that. So I can have that work going on in the background when I'm working and still be able to concentrate, but it's not really good for productivity. So what I do instead of that is I put binaural beats on in the background, and it helps me stay focused and helps me concentrate when I need to, and it helps me a ton. So maybe give that a try. Now, I've talked about the big three when you are planning the night before for your next day. So I want to kind of dive into that with you. So nothing's worse than working all day and you're feeling like you've accomplished nothing meaningful, right? Like I've had those days where I'm like, I started right off the bat with like checking emails, answering messages. My whole day gets disrupted. I'm basically in reaction mode. I have absolutely no idea what I've done today that really kind of meant anything. I haven't really accomplished anything. So this happens when we spend our day reacting to what is coming our way like answering emails, responding to everybody else's needs, doing busy work that doesn't actually move anything forward in your business. So it's so important to identify your most productive time during the day. And for me, that is the morning time. So early morning till about 11, 12, and then I kind of get a little slower in the afternoon. Now, I've mentioned the big three a couple times now, and I kind of want to give some context around it about what they are. So big threes are tasks that will have a direct impact on your profits, your overall business success, moving that needle forward. But really, it comes down to what is going to make you feel accomplished at the end of the day. If you've got nothing else done that day, as long as you got those three things done, you're going to feel accomplished. So what are those things? Always start with those three tasks first before you do anything in the day. So before you check emails, never start your day checking emails. But get those three tasks done, because no matter what else you get done that day, you're going to feel so great at the end of the day because you got those three really important tasks done. So when you structure your day around those big three, you're going to know that should nothing else get completed, you have successfully accomplished your major top tasks that have a direct impact on moving that needle forward in your business, which is the best feeling, right? Now, the next thing is communication. Communicate, communicate, communicate. Boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. So this is a key word working from home with spouse, children, family, whoever you're living with. Set working hours and communicate them to those living in your household. This way they know when you're available and when you're not. So you can even purchase those noise canceling headphones, which I didn't. But you can if you have really loud people that you live with. Maybe you have children that are young and they're running around and they're playing, and they should be, but you have to focus. So maybe you do need to have those noise canceling headphones. But also be flexible. Be flexible with the people that you're living with. It's an adjustment for them as well as it is for you. Show yourself some grace if things don't go according to the plan. So maybe, a family member does need to interrupt you because they do need you, and that's okay. Maybe your child will walk into the room when you're in a team meeting or something like that, and, they just want a little bit of attention. That's okay. Things are going to happen. You just kind of have to go with the flow, but just try to communicate what you need from your family or whoever you're living with, and how they can make it easier for you working from home. So it definitely can also be difficult to turn work off when your office is at home. So sticking to those work hours so that you're able to take time to reset and connect with your family afterwards is so important. I got so used to kind of, getting dragged back into work in the evenings, checking messages just because everything was just here. And it was definitely taking more time out of my day from spending quality time with family, resetting because, there is a lot going on at this time and whatnot. So you just want to make sure that you're sticking to those hours. You're doing your best to get all your work done in those set hours and just taking time to really reset afterwards. What you can do is also make sure you close the door to your office when you're done for the day so that you're not tempted to jump back in because you see your computer or something like that. Now, another tip is all about movement, which I think is super important. When I was in an office setting, it was really nice to get up and grab a cup of coffee, grab a cup of water, chat with some coworkers for a couple minutes. But working remotely obviously makes it so difficult to do so. So maybe create some coffee time when you can get up, stretch, grab a beverage, have a chat with a family member, and it gives you a little bit of breaks in between tasks as well. You don't have to chat with them for 30 minutes, but 5 minutes or whatnot, just to give you a little bit of break. That is so, so good for you. I found when I was working from home at first for the first month or two, I just felt this need to just always be in my chair working. For some reason, I don't know why, I rarely got up, which was not good for me in any way. And now I make it a point to go downstairs, say hi, grab a cup of water, check on something, or go to the bathroom, or, just go sit down in my room for a minute, just to clear my head if I'm getting stressed out or overwhelmed. But make sure you get some movement. Go for a little walk at lunch, incorporate as much movement as you can in your day. Don't feel like you need to just sit on your butt in that chair for the full 8 hours. Just because you're working from home, it doesn't mean you can't get up and take that break that you need. Now, feeling overwhelmed is definitely something that we are all experiencing right now. It's easy to become overwhelmed with what is going on in the world while you're adapting to a new normal and complete change of environments, and now you're having to work from home and whatnot. In fact, it's absolutely normal to feel this, as we have to adjust to a very big change in our lives right now. And even without COVID going on, working from home for me has been a huge change. So that alone can be a little overwhelming. So if you are feeling out of control, step away from whatever you're doing and find just a comfortable spot. Whether it's in your bedroom or down in the basement or somewhere quiet. Close your eyes, ground your feet firmly on the floor, inhale, exhale slowly. Think about or write down what you do have control over, so what you're grateful for, and let go of everything else. So what really helped me in that first month, because it was pretty intense for me, is I would always just remind myself that I have a roof over my head, I have food to eat, I have clean water to drink, I have everything I need to get through this period of time that I'm currently experiencing. Everything will pass just like it has in the past. So I just needed to remind myself about this. So if you are feeling isolated, alone, working from home is somewhat kind of lonely. There aren't coworkers around you all the time. Just pick up a phone or call or message someone. Have a Zoom date while you're working or while you're eating your lunch or your breakfast. Stay connected with your loved ones, your friends, family, whoever you're wanting to chat with. And try to use video as much as possible because it helps you feel more connected when you see that other person. Keep in mind that everybody has similar experiences, so sending a brief message or a voice text, letting them know that you're thinking about them will help them through whatever they're experiencing as well. So those are my tips that I've learned from working from home full-time in the last few months. I definitely didn't want to share them until I had tested them out myself. Because this was very new for me and I wanted to make sure that they actually worked for me. But above all else, I really want you guys to show yourself some grace. Don't be too hard on yourself if you're still adjusting. It definitely took me some time to adjust. It took me almost 2 months to adjust, I'm not going to lie. But you will be able to adjust to this working from home. It's actually fantastic once you do put in the right routines and you do have the right environment and the right structure to your days. You will enjoy it, and it's a lot more productive than I thought it was going to be. So I hope that has helped you today. But if you want to connect with me, head on over to Instagram. My handle is Project Love Co. And send me a DM. I love hearing from you guys. I want to hear if these were great tips for you guys, if you learned anything new, if you're going to have any great takeaways. But you can also connect with me through my website at www.projectloveco.com, where you can sign up for my love letters. So I hope you guys have a wonderful Saturday, and I hope you guys take some time to invest in yourselves today. I'm Jessica, and thanks for tuning in today to Love Unplugged, the podcast. If there are any questions or topics you'd love answered on the show, head on over to www.projectloveco.com and share your request with me. If you haven't yet, go to iTunes and subscribe, rate, and review this podcast and share it with a loved one. Your feedback means the world to me, and the community we've created is what fuels our discussions here. After all, this is all for you. Join me next time for another unplugged conversation.